everybody. Welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on today. But before we get started, you know what I'm going to say. Go right down here, go in your settings, find your subscribe button, and subscribe. That is my Oprah impression. And while you're in there subscribing, hit your notification bell so you know when I upload or when I just want to pop in. And give me a thumbs up to fight my nemesis, that algorithm that's dragging me up and down these internet streets. I really would appreciate it. And also, right about here, that's our join button. That's for channel memberships. And if you choose to become a channel member and a part of the reading club, you will be supporting my little channel to grow, to improve, and to continue. And I will be so grateful, so very grateful for that support. Also, we have the super thanks button over here. That's for one time donations, and all donations to this channel is always greatly appreciated. I have one little correction. I was late posting Winterborns, our newest member to the reading club. I was a little late posting her official welcome over on the community page, and maybe some of y'all did not get the opportunity to go over there and welcome her. And if you haven't went over to welcome Winterborn, please do, because I am thrilled to pieces to have her as the newest member of the reading club. All right, with all that said, let's get to the read, y'all. Let's get to the read because it's always packed, and we are packed today. All right, since while I was putting the read together, y'all know what I do. I was up and down and all around and all up in these internet streets. I was over to Instagram, and the squatties over to Instagram are dragging Camila, dragging her up and down these internet streets, and talking about a whole lot of stuff like people do on Instagram. It was a whole lot of variety of posts, some about Samoa, very few. I think people are pretty much feeling the way I'm feeling. I'm sick of Charles and Camilla. I'm not covering anything else they do. Whenever they fly out of Samoa, good for them. I'm not doing it. I am sick of them. I got enough of them in Australia. As my grandmother said, I got my belly full of them in Australia. And so y'all can, if y'all want to hear more about Charles and Camilla in Samoa, y'all go to, I'm sure the other squatties podcasts are probably covered, but I'm just not. I'm just done with them on so many levels. And especially, I have an article I'm bringing today, and it just kind of really soured me. I'm just sick of them. But I digress. That's what's going on Instagram. I went over to the dark side. I got that clip that I was been teasing, I think, for two podcasts that I was gonna play with Nana and Angela Levin, having the nerve to talk about Megan bully, saying that she is the most bullied person in the world, when in actuality they are two of the biggest bullies of them all when it comes to Megan. I mean, the lack of self awareness is unbelievable. So, we're going to listen to that. I have a sound bite from Harry about, why they feel that kind of way. They want Harry back. But Harry has made it very clear that he's not coming back. So, we have that sound bite. And let's see. And I was on X, formerly known as Twitter. They are dragging Camilla. I mean, dragging her to the point where she got skid marks on the back of her shoes. They are dragging her because she has, and the squatties on X feel that she has pretty much diminished the crown. She has diminished the office, or the title of queen. When you look at the proper queen, Queen Elizabeth, and you look at this trailer trash garden tool, you can understand that, yeah, she has done exactly that. So that's what they're talking about. They're talking about Spare. They're talking about Boris Johnson, and we gonna get into that. They dragging him too, and I think that's pretty much it. But let's get into this read and let's get started because I have a lot. I have like, I think I have two articles that I want to share too. So we have quite a bit. Because, oh, yeah, and the second article is about how these trolls their own X, trying to come for Prince Archie and Princess Lilibeth, wanting to see them and actually trying to demand to see them, and it's just the most sick thing. And so I found an article about that, and I'm going to share that with you too. So, but let's get started with this. This is one of the things on X and on Instagram that the squatties are just having a field day with, and that is dragging Camilla about going barefoot. We said barefoot. I think the correct pronunciation is bare feet, but I'm from the South and I'm going to say barefoot. Okay. So I'm putting this up and it says, this squatty says, what in the raw ghetto is this? Why is the concubine Camilla Parker Bowles barefooted while on royal duty? That's a good question, isn't it? This is what the squatties are saying. The proper queen would never, when I say never, never, but look at this trailer trash. I'm telling you, you can take the woman out of the gutter, but you can't take the gutter out of the woman. I'm just saying. It said, talk about not being able to walk in Princess Diana's shoes. Where is the lie? This is another squatty said this. The queen would have walked over hot coals before she let the public see her bare feet at a royal engagement. Where is the lie? Where is the lie in that? Camilla is common and no title or crown which ever, I'm going to put ever in there, change that. Where is the lie at? Camilla is the most inept human being that ever graced the title of queen. Look at Queen Letizia of Spain. Look at Queen Maxima of the Netherlands. Look at Queen Mary of Denmark. And look at Camilla, Queen of the United Kingdom. A great nation like the United Kingdom deserves so much better. What a demotion. I mean, what a leveling down they have made. I'm just saying. And it's Charles' fault. It's Charles' fault. All right, this squatty right here. She had the nerve over there in Samoa today to have a speech, to make a speech about domestic violence. She had the nerve to do that. And I saw the clip and it was, I didn't even bring the sound bite to y'all because it was so boring. And it was like she was reading, like it was like she was reading, you know how you in school you take turns reading, you would be in class and you would take turn reading and reading class. That's the way she sounds. So dead, so unanimated. So I mean, she didn't have no life to her speech. It was just the most droning on thing you most ever want to hear. This is the kind of partners these people chose, and we all saw what Kitty Cat did up in Southport, trying her best to tie two or three sentences together and almost fell off her chair in the attempt. These are the women that they chose. That's why they so mad with Harry, because Meghan has the ability and has done to speak at the UN and has done it. And I'm telling you, you talking about embarrassment, you talking about a disgrace. Go online and watch. You ain't gonna be able to watch but about, I say, 5 seconds at the most, because it is horrible to say the least. And this squatty said this. Well, the royal family posted this. It said, "We know the abuse can be prevented and ultimately eliminated, but only if we work together until that task is completed. That is our commitment to each other, to the Commonwealth, and to generations to come." I guess that was a segment of her speech. And I'm telling you, it is horrible. And these people are supposed to be the cream of the crop. And every one of them stand there with paper in their hand. Cannot deliver a speech without having all these papers in their hand. And then when they do have the papers in their hand, they read it like, I mean, with no emotion. I mean, it was horrible, horrible. And this squatty said, this woman who mentally abused, schemed, and bullied a 19-year-old Diana, who isolated and drove Kanga Trison to unalive by circulating vile rumors about her. And now, if you don't know who Kanga Trison is, she was the other woman in Charles's life, the woman that they said that he really, really loved and wanted to marry. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he even asked her to marry him. But we all know when you got a scheming garden tool is willing to do anything and everything, even when they are married already. She was doing all this and was already married to someone. I'm just saying. And it said, uh, where was I at? Circulating vile rumors about her, who nonstop schemed against Harry and everyone she feels will threaten her, is talking about abuse. Camilla Parker Bowles. Isn't that the truth? That's all she has ever done. That's all she has ever done. This woman has managed to live her whole life without actually being employed. The only angle she has ever worked is the one horizontal. That's it. I'm just saying. And this particular squatty said this: the worst downgrade ever for a queen. Where's the lie? It is such a drastic downgrade from Queen Elizabeth II to this woman. And I'll tell you what I think is so treacherous about her and Charles. Have you noticed, have they have consistently and intentionally are doing everything to make people forget about Elizabeth II? I mean, she is rarely even spoken about. This woman sit on the throne for 70 years and they put her down in that vault and have not spoken on her since. They want people to forget her grace, her elegance, and her, her presence as queen. Because one thing about Queen Elizabeth II, you might not agree with everything that she did or said, which was rarely she would say anything, or what she didn't say. It was a lot of what we squatties disagree with her. It's her not saying enough. But you can say all of that, but you cannot say that she didn't uphold her office as queen and was fully and completely respected by the world as just that, the queen. She is the proper queen. And then Charles go and make this horse the queen, the one who will walk barefoot on royal duty with her shoes in her hands, just like some trailer trash old woman coming from a 4th of July celebration or a backyard picnic. That's who he got. Mm. And I found this article, and this is another reason why I am in the mood to drag Camilla. And I was so happy when I saw, and when I went on X, formerly known as Twitter, and the theme of the day was to drag her, was when I had ran into this article, and I'm gonna put it up. It says Prince Harry is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Queen Camilla strongly against the Duke's return to the royal family. Now, I'm not saying I don't agree with her. I don't want Harry to return to that family either. But she got some nerve to say Harry is a sheep in wolf's clothing. I mean a wolf in sheep's clothing. She got some nerve, doesn't she? I'm just saying. It says this tension within the royal family surrounding Prince Harry seems far from resolved, with Queen Camilla reportedly not in favor of a reconciliation. She ain't never been in favor. She has done everything that she could do, even when Harry was a child, to keep Harry and William separated from their father. She has done nothing but scheme and connive to be the number one person in his life, and he has went right along with it and used his children to feed to the wolves in order to for the betterment of himself and this old garden tool. I'm just saying. It comes after reports that Prince William is not willing to forgive Harry. We hear that every month. It's his. He just on his monthly. That's all I'm saying about that. He's on the monthly because he says it every month. We get that report. It says tension within the royal family surrounding Prince Harry seems far from resolve, with the Queen reportedly not in favor of reconciliation. This comes after report. This what I said, that William is not willing to forgive Harry. Harry, who stepped back from royal duty in 2020 and moved to California with Meghan Markle, has caused further strain with his memoir released in January of 2023, full of nothing but the truth. It would have been a whole different book if they had acted and behaved in a different way. Just a caveat that I wanted to put there. He refers to Camilla as the wicked stepmother. Why is he lying? He is not. He is not lying. And accused her of trying to improve her public image. Where is the lie there? Where is the lie? And insiders early revealed that King Charles had made a firm decision to ask Harry and his wife Meghan Markle to leave the Frogmore College after the Duke's allegations in the book. The source said that this was the last straw because Harry knew Camilla was a sensitive topic for his father, but still ignored it. Isn't that something? Isn't that something to say? That he cannot tell the truth about how this woman has treated him because it's a sensitive topic for him. And we all know that the queen had not blew out her last breath before he was evicting Harry and Meghan from Frogmore. And we get article after article after article about how Charles misses his grandchildren, how he wants to get to know Prince Archie and Princess Lilibeth, how Harry is keeping them away from him, and all of this. But the minute the queen blew out her last breath, he was evicting those very same grandchildren from their only UK home so they can miss me completely with that nonsense. It says, it was the last straw. Harry was well aware how Camilla would be a red line for his father, and he crossed it with fragrant disregard anyway. The king felt without a doubt it crossed the line, and it was the ultimate act of disrespect, an insider told the Mirror. What about the line of her using your son, Charles? Charles is a piece of crap. And I want to use the SHIT word, but I will use crap instead. He is crap. He is. He is a failed man, a failed father, a failed grandfather, a failed king. He is, ugh. And and the perfect example of what a failed human being, and an example, the number one, well, our latest example, let me put it that way, our latest example of this man, how emotionally retarded he is this picture right here. This picture right here says it all to me. And that's when I had finally got my belly full. When I saw him and his horse coming down the steps of the opera house in Australia, doing the same thing that his son and his wife did. The level of jealousy, the emotional, I mean, he's just emotionally stunned. Can you imagine doing that? That is, to me, that says it all about who Charles is. Charles is a sociopath. Charles only can think about things when it has something to do with him. It is crazy to me how the firm continuously to raise and spit out these sociopathic personality disorders within their monarchs. I just cannot believe it. And Charles is a prime example, and William is a prime example. They are so mad with Harry because Harry did not stay and continue to be used, and thought somehow he had a right to his own life, and he had a right to be treated with respect and love like a real family member. Harry sat up there and said, I want a family, not the firm. But little did he know, it's no family to have over there. It is just the firm. I'm just saying, and I hope Harry has come to that conclusion. Let's go on. It says, not everyone is keen on the idea, but Camilla is opposed to Harry making any sort of return, even for a friendly visit. She doesn't want to come face to face with him, let alone show him any kind of forgiveness or mercy, the insider said. My whole thing is, where is the truth here? One report says that when Harry came over there, he did not see her. And then one report said that she stayed in the room. Tom Sykes reported that she stayed in the room with Harry and Charles when he was there. So I don't know what the truth is, but I am in full agreement with her that Harry should not go over there anymore. I don't trust her nor his father or his brother or sister-in-law. They mean Harry no good whatsoever. So I go along with this. I think it is a wonderful thing. And the reason I think it's a wonderful thing, because it gives Harry an excuse. It takes him off the hook. He doesn't have to go over there. It'll be different if Charles was inviting him and then Harry would have to say no. But them continuing this kind of stance right here is absolutely great, because I have said it so many times before. Harry has no business having any kind of association with these people, because it is not a low they won't go. We have saw that, and that includes hurting Harry. It included hurting Diana, didn't it? Why wouldn't it include hurting Harry too? So I was so thrilled when Harry went over there for the well child and he did not put his head on a pillow. He just did a turnaround. And I was so thrilled about that. And I am thrilled about this old garden tool feeling the way she feel, because this is just a perfect out for Harry. Harry don't have to be bothered with them no more, and he doesn't have to come in any kind of proximity to any of them, so they could not harm him. So I am with her on that. I'm just saying. It says insiders went on to say that Camilla views Harry as a wolf in sheep's clothing. Now, a wolf in wolf clothing has the nerve to say Harry is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Isn't that something? And she is a wolf in wolf clothing. Insists he brings stress and drama to situations. Yeah, he does, because he is going to call you out on your lies and your behavior. That Spare and Oprah and the Harry and Meghan documentary set them on fire. It did. And Harry didn't go all the way in. Just imagine if Harry had went all the way in. I love it. And like I said, all they are doing is causing themselves damage, because their behavior towards Harry and Meghan, the blowback is real. The blowback is real, because, like I said, it created people like me. It did. It said it's her belief that any interaction King Charles has with him is only going to be bad for his health and for the family as a whole. There is no family over there, but okay. It says if Harry does get an invite back to the UK, he'd be wise to stay away from Camilla, the insider asked. I agree. I agree. And I believe Harry would love that too. All right, I'm going to put this up, and it says it was a overreach, the height of arrogance, trying to sell Camilla as queen. Even a ardent royalist aren't buying it. Oh, I didn't read that right. Let me read it again. It said it was an overreach, the height of arrogance, trying to sell Camilla as queen. Even the most ardent royalists aren't buying it. They can't buy it, because she is everything the proper queen was. She is everything. She is not. Well, how I want to phrase that. She is nothing that the proper queen was. I'll put it that way. She is nothing. She doesn't elevate the status of being queen. She diminishes it. Her mere existence, how she moves, she's clumsy. She's just horrible, and she's real ugly. And I just don't mean on the outside either. I'm just saying. All right, this particular squatty said this: King Charles is jealous, petty, cowardice, mean. He will be known as a monarch who brought the curtains down on the British Empire 2.0. And boy, do I love it for him and his tampon. Where is the lie? Where is the lie on that? Charles is going to be the detriment of the monarchy. He is. He is so horrible as a king. Diana predicted it. Diana said that he would be a horrible king. And he made this garden tool, this old nag, his queen. I just don't get it. I just do not get it. All right, I'm gonna put this up here. And like I said, online it's a lot of back and forth and posting about how these trolls want to see Prince Archie and Princess Lily. And they have even went to the point of creating pictures that they think would look like Archie or Lily. How they would look using AI. I mean, it has gotten just like that. And I found this particular post and article. It says, by calling for Archie and Lily to be exploited, the trolls reveal a disturbing level of entitlement and cruelty. It's sickening to witness adults clamoring for the exposure of two young children. And that's true. And they just keep it up. They don't never stop talking about how critiquing Harry and Meghan as parents, but has nothing to say about Kate, whose child actually told her to shut up, put his hand over her mouth and gave her the raspberry and did all that. I mean, Louis just clowned out at the Queen's Jubilee concert, but they don't have anything to say about that, about Kate and William's parenting skills, because William sit over there with Lou I mean not Louis, but over there with what's his name? George, and just pretend like Louis did not even exist. His behavior was not going on at the time. He just left it totally to Kate, and Kate was so inept on handling this small child that you could see that she pretty much, the nannies was the ones who was dishing out the discipline on that end, because Louis acted out to the point where he knew it was no repercussions coming behind it. I'm just saying. But they got all the smoke for Harry and Meghan, but none for that. That's the problem. All right, this is the article. It says, a sick obsession with Meghan and Harry's children. Where is the lie on that? It says, in a deeply disturbing twist, online trolls have begun obsessively calculating how many hours Prince Harry and Meghan has spent away from their children. Can you imagine having that much time on your hand to be calculating how long two private citizens stayed away from their own children? I mean, tell me that the mental health in these people are not really, really poor, that these people are not sick. These are people who have nothing better to do but to sit around and do some nonsense stuff like that. I'm going to say this: you will never see squatties demanding to see Prince Archie or Princess Lilibet. It's not because we wouldn't love to see pictures of Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. We would love to see them. But we understand exactly why we are not seeing them. Why Harry and Meghan have to, pretty much keep them protected the way they are. Because we saw how these trolls acted when Harry and Meghan used to share birthday pictures. We saw how they acted, and we also saw how they acted uh, when Archie and Lilibeth appeared in the Harry and Meghan documentary. We saw that, and so we understand. We would love it, but we understand. And the reason we understand is because we actually care about the well-being of these children and of this family. But these trolls, they could care less about the well-being of these children and this family. They have shown that time and time again. And we all know the British press want to try to use them for profit. They want to just plaster their pictures on the pages of their rags in order for profit. They would love it. And I believe they want Harry to come back and the kids to come back so they can use all three of them. They really, really, really do. I'm just saying. But let's finish getting into this article. Uh, it says, even more alarming, they are demanding that the children be paraded in public as though they are objects of consumption rather than innocent young lives. The sick motivation behind these calls reveals a deeper pathological a pathology. Deeper, a darker pathology that goes beyond mere criticism. It borders on a twisted desire to see these children exploited and harmed. Where is the lie? Where is the lie? What kind of person fixates on how much time a parent spends with their children? Two private citizens, like I said, I may add. It speaks to the unsettling level of control and jealousy. The women making these demands often pose as champions of motherhood, yet they are gleefully advocating for Archie and Lilybeth to be thrust into the same toxic media spotlight that has caused such harm to their parents and to so many others. These are not concerned onlookers. They are people driven by a malicious desire to see Harry and Meghan fail as parents and their children their children are being used as pawns in their sick game. This obsession is not just unhealthy, it is deeply damaging. The demand to parade these children in public for scrutiny and consumption is a form of exploitation. Forcing them into the glare of public attention would subject them to the same intense media pressure that has ruined lives before. It risks exposing Archie and Lily to an emotional abuse, robbing them of their childhood and innocence, and turning them into objects of media fascination. And we know that's the truth. How do we know? Look how the media was behaving when Archie was a small baby. They were, you could see it. I used to consume everything Harry and Meghan while they were in that institution, just like I do now, to be honest. But yes, I was watching very, very closely. And you could see it right after Archie was born, it started ramping up. The British media insisting upon seeing Archie. Archie was a arm baby when Meghan, I believe, was forced to bring that small baby out to that polo event. Y'all remember that? And I put the picture up. And then on top of that, after she brought Archie out to the polo event, and which I believe was forced, then they bullied her on every platform and in every national paper about how she was holding her child. Y'all remember that? Yes, they did. And I believe that maybe was a turning point for Harry and Meghan when they knew that they had to get out. Because can you imagine what little Archie's life would be like now? He would be plastered from one page of those rags to another. Anything or any event that might happen at school, they would be there to write about it. They would do him like they did that poor little boy, Harry, when Harry was a little boy. They would have used him as a scapegoat and a whipping boy. They absolutely will. And that's why they so mad. They missed the opportunity for that. I'm so glad Harry and Meghan is away from there. And they are really, really crazy and out of their mind if they think Harry's going to bring his children back into that nonsense. All right, let's go on. It said trolls insatiable desire reflects reflects their underlying resentment towards Megan, a woman who dares to live her life on her own terms, defying the warped ideas of what a woman and a mother should be. It said facts that this obsession exercises as all should be alarmed. No, I'm sorry. Let me read that again. The fact that this obsession exists at all should alarm us all. It's time to call out these sick motivations for what they are: abusive, harmful, and deeply troubling. These children deserve to live their lives free from the poisonous grasp of public exploitation. To demand otherwise is nothing short of cruel. I love it because it's true. And they want access to those children so they can do them like they do Megan, to bully them, to break them down, to damage their confidence and their self, image. And that's all they want. And so we as squatties, we understand because at the end of the day, it's about protecting the children. It's not about what we want to see. That's the way you behave when you really care about somebody or something. I'm just saying. And they get mad with us squatties because we don't demand to see the children. I have had people say that. Well, why y'all don't care about seeing them? Because we care about them. That's why. That's why. We care about them. That's why we don't care about seeing them. Because we have saw what y'all and how y'all have behaved. We know we know what you will do with those images of those babies. I would love to see Lily Beth and see how long her hair is and who she looks like. I would love all of that. And Archie and see who he looks like. But I understand. I get it. Because Harry and Meghan aren't normal parents. They have to protect their children images. They can't share it on Instagram or Facebook like other parents can. You know, people used to say Michael Jackson was crazy and all this kind of stuff because he would shield his children's face. But he always made it very clear the reason he was doing that, so he was able to give his children the freedom that he did not have. Because when people did not know how their face looked, they could go to Disney World, they could go to Chuck E. Cheese's, they could do all the things that regular kids could do, and nobody recognized them for who they were. And that's the way Archie and Lily can do. Archie and Lily can go all over the place. I bet they've been to Disney World and they've been to all over the place because they can do that. They can do that. And they can go to the dentist, they can do all that. And they also can do it because of where they live, which is in California, which has a lot of laws in place about kids. Parents have a lot of power if the images of their kids are to be published or not. Because it's plenty of celebrity kids, you don't know how they look. Look at George Clooney. We have no idea how his twins look. Halle Berry, we don't know how her kids look really. Just a whole slew of celebrity kids that we don't even know how they look. So it's not an oddity what Meghan and Harry's doing. It's a necessity. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I want to put this up. We're going to change gears a little we're going to talk about Harry. I want to play this soundbite of Harry talking, and I'm going to put this picture up, and we are going to listen. Hold on. Now? I think that's one question people have at the end of all this. Are you happy? I'm very, very happy. I'm very at peace. I am in a better place than I've ever been. And I think that probably angers some people, infuriates others, because just by the nature of me leaving, I'm sure they some people always thought that Meghan would leave, right? I don't think they ever thought that I would leave as well. But just by leaving, it's embarrassing for some people. As I said, it wasn't something that I would have necessarily chosen at the time, but I own my story, and I own the results. But I've got two beautiful kids and an amazing wife. Like, the happiness in my family now, I have never felt anywhere else before. But and there you have it. Harry is not going anywhere. And it's just a reminder. And this is on X, formerly known as Twitter. The Squatties is posting this as a reminder that Harry understands who he's dealing with. Did you hear Harry say it's going to anger some people and make some other people really mad? Did you see that? And we all know who he's talking about. And he said it's embarrassing to them because he left. Why would it be embarrassing to them because he left? Just something to think about. But Harry said he is very happy and he is sitting and standing in his decision. And I love that for him. And people, they tried to make it out that Harry wants to come back, and they got this whole campaign now of relieving Harry of any blame and persecuting Meghan so we can clear the road for Harry to come back. And I really think that it is something that they want him to come back. But Harry has let it be known that he is not coming back. Why would he go back to that? And Harry said he is very, very happy with his life. And the love that he feels now is a love that he has never felt before. So they need to get over themselves. I thought we would enjoy that little clip to remind us that Harry ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. And I just love that for them. But they choose never to listen to what the words that are coming out of Harry's mouth. They cannot accept the rejection of this man. And we all see that. And it's so pathetic. I'm going to put this up. This is about Spare. And it says this: please do not buy Spare by Prince Harry paperback from UK Amazon, who has paired it with Tom Bowers' book Revenge. Bowers is a hate book filled with misinformation and lies about Prince Harry and his wife. And I don't see why he is able to sell this nonsense, because it is so many people. You remember when he first launched this book, it was so many people came out to dispute a parts of it where he had said they said this or they had done that, and they just said no, this is a lie. That's my dog, y'all. This is a lie. But yet and still they are selling it on Amazon. But you got to understand, they were selling that book, a book that was supposed to be the unauthorized biography of what is it, P Diddy's baby mama. I forgot her name. Oh, Kim Porter. And they had to take that mess down. They were selling that. So Amazon will sell anything, to tell you the truth. And that is proof within itself when it is selling Tom Bowers' rag and trying to get him some book sales on the back of Harry and Meghan. I am so sick of people clout chasing and using Harry or Meghan or both to try to earn money. I'm sick of it. And this is another one. Let me calm down a minute. Boris Johnson's book has flippity, 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 flippity flopped. And I'm telling you, that many flippities and that many flops. This says this. It says, this is what James O'Brien said. And then the squatty answered to it. It said, blimey, book wise, Johnson is currently not even a tenth as popular as Prince Harry. The cursory reading of the UK media would lead will leave a credulous consumer convinced that it must be the other way around, as with Brexit, trust, and culture wars, and the rest. They're all so full of shit. My dog, hold on. All right, y'all. I had to tend to my dog. Y'all know how he gets. He gets a little antsy around this time of the day. But this particular squatty said this: the audacity of Harper Collins. And you know who Harper Collins is? That is the publisher that published this book by Boris Johnson, and they was expecting sales like spare. Can you believe that? It says this, and it said Harper Collins thought that he was going to do Prince Harry's numbers. That Harry sold 450,000 in his first week, and Boris Johnson sold 42,000, which is so far below any of the expectations they would have had. They have overpaid massively. And what do they mean about they overpaid massively? Well, we're going to put this up. It said Boris Johnson's memoir flops as sales slumps despite $2 million advance. Booksellers reportedly left with piles and piles of political memoir unleashed. And he himself tried to clout chase on Harry and Meghan. You remember he released the excerpts of this book, and it was all about Harry and Meghan. Everybody who has a book over there release their excerpts are about Harry and Meghan. They cannot carry a book on their own, and even when they do, it still flops. Look at Jabo, flops. Look at James Middleton, flops. Look at, I'm sure we hadn't got the report from what is it, the good, bad, and the rugby with what is his name, that Tyndall guy. Him, we hadn't got the results from that, but my guess is probably a flippity flop too. And now look at Boris Johnson. They all tried to piggyback on Harry and Meghan and ended up, they don't have any clout. That's what Tina Brown is doing. That's what she's doing. She has a project to sell. So what does she do? She uses Harry and Meghan as a catalyst to get her name out there, some recognition, some clicks, so she can try to promote her project. That's all they do. They don't have any clout on their own. When you look over there to the pond, none of them have any clout, any weight to carry anything. They don't. And I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I'm gonna play um this soundbite from Nana Nim, and we're gonna talk about that since we're talking about people who all they do is keep Harry and Meghan in their mouth. I'm telling you, that's all these people do is keep Harry and Meghan in their mouth. All right, hold on, I'm gonna put up a picture of Nana. Meghan Markle, because she apparently told 4 to 13-year-old children that she was one of the most bullied people on earth. Yes. 13-year-old. Yes, she said she was one of the most bullied person in the world. Now,
How does she know that, for a start? I mean, you don't know something. She doesn't look at social media. How does she know anything about how many people actually like her or don't like her? But if you've got children aged 4 to 12, how do you expect them to respond to you? I mean, I would be terrified if someone came in and said, I'm the most bullied person in the world. And I think, my God, what shall I do? Let me hide from this person. She must be absolutely awful. I don't think she would get any sympathy. I think small children wouldn't know how on earth what they should do about it. And it's interesting that she thinks she's the most bullied person in the world. I mean, she literally has lovely fortune. She has everything. And to be fair, some of the things they did, so documentaries, slaying the whole family, and allowing the Queen to believe that there was a racist in there, and that's not. She enjoys it. I think she gets satisfaction from it. Otherwise, she wouldn't pretend to be that. Maybe our definition of bullying is different to how we understand the word. Well, I think she doesn't know the difference between bullying and being disliked.
Did y'all hear that? Said Megan didn't know the difference between being bullied and disliked. I think Megan pretty much does know the difference between being bullied and disliked. People who dislike you don't want to have anything to do with you. They don't keep your name in their mouth just constantly making up lies, pulling out lies out of their butts like Angela Levin. These two are the two biggest bullies of Megan there is. That's all they do is sit around and talk about Megan. They're both are jealous. To be a bully, you have to be jealous, and they are jealous. Did you hear Nana talking about how could she be bullied? She got a beautiful house. She got such a great fortune. Just because you have things that you can't be bullied. That goes to show you Nana wants everything that Megan had. I saw Nana on a panel once, not long ago, her and that Conti woman. And they were talking, and Nana was sitting up there bullying Megan with a dress on that Megan had. She had copied, the one with the arm with the shoulder out. She had that on the news now. That's supposed to be a evening dress, but she had it on, wore it to work, and had it on. All Nana does is try to copy Harry copy Megan. She is obsessed with Megan, and so is Angela Levin. And if they don't understand that Megan is one of the most bullied people in the world, when they consistently and continuously have her name in their mouth all the time, and they are making up lies, that's all Angela Levin does is make up lies. And everywhere she goes, she has made a career out of talking about Megan. And later on in this interview, she lets Harry off the hook. All of a sudden it's this campaign now. Harry is not to be touched, but you just continue and consistently bully Megan, because they want to separate Harry and Megan. Want Megan to say, I just cannot take this anymore, and it's all because of you, so I'm gonna leave you. And Harry will miraculously come back and beg them to come back, and he'll be over there to be the scapegoat, the whipping boy, the person who throws himself, because they will have trained him to the point where he'll throw himself under the bus. They wouldn't have to throw him under the bus. This is their wet dream that this will happen. But I hate to break it to them, no matter what they do, is not going to make Megan leave Harry, because Megan understands what the deal is. And her husband, and she has made it very clear on many occasions that he is worth all of it. And Harry is the blueprint, because people are saying that Harry is the blueprint when it comes to being a good man. People are looking for their Prince Harry. So yeah, he is worth it. I'm just saying. All right. I wanted to I think that might be just about it, except I wanted to put this up, and this is something Angela Levine, she had put posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, and this is what she said: they are still bitter about how Australia behaved with Charles. They don't like the rejection. And it says, from a friend, this is what Angela Levin said, from a friend in Australia, King just arrived in Samoa to be welcomed to 10 times more dignified than the rather scrappy affair on the arrival in Sydney. Samoans act with perfect island protocol and play God Save the King as it used to be played. They reminded me of the immense dignity of the Queen Solot of Tonga at 1953 coronation. I think Angela is well into her 80s, so she remembers the 1953 coronation. She probably was there. And then she posted the headlines like CNN said, King Charles received frosty welcome in Australia, and then also Samoa to host the Commonwealth heads of government. Well, it's my understanding. I was watching Pedal earlier on Facts and Two Cents, and it's a lot of people did not even show up for the Commonwealth, that the Commonwealth, this meeting. I mean, Canada didn't even show up. The prime minister didn't show up. They sent somebody, a real lower level official. And it's other countries that didn't even bother to show up. So people are just not feeling it. I'm just saying. And if you hadn't watched Petals, um because she goes in depth about it. She is, when it comes to the Commonwealth information and all that, Pella knows all of it. She knows the ins and outs of it. I do not, but I found her podcast today so interesting, and it tells you everything that was going on. Like I said, I'm done with Charles now. So, but it's an article in Politico, and it's saying, the name of the article is, let me see if I can find the name of that article, because I had it's called The End of the British Empire. And Paddle just breaks it all the way down. And like I said, if you hadn't watched her for the day, then it is something to be, you would be interested in it. I'm just saying. But yeah, it was really, really, really good. All right, y'all. I'm gonna put Kitty Cat up here. Yep, she mad. And I see into her soul, and I understand why she is mad, because she thought her work was done when she trapped William. And Megan came along and ruined her life because she has a work ethic. I'm just saying. And also, I'm going to put the Sassy Squad up here. We will eat your face off if you mess with Harry and Meghan. We absolutely will. All right, y'all. I tell you what, I have enjoyed my time, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.